Internet users worldwide were enthralled by a mysterious figure known as EMPRESS. This anonymous user single-handedly challenged the gaming industry, showcasing her extraordinary and unmatched expertise in cracking video games. Join us on an immersive journey as we delve deep into her tale of rebellion, philosophical mustings, and a community caught between adoration and shattered illusions. Brace yourself for a captivating narrative about the EMPRESS, the unrivaled, unparalleled master of video game pirating in all of history. To truly comprehend the legend of EMPRESS, it is essential to grasp the fundamentals of video game cracking. While copying and sharing movies or songs may be relatively straightforward, the piracy of video games has become increasingly intricate. Game developers employ various techniques to protect against unauthorized copying, while hackers and programmers continuously strive to crack these safeguards. This perpetual game of cat and mouse between game developers and pirates has evolved into a complex battle. Given the immense difficulty and time-consuming nature of game cracking, pirates operate within tightly knit groups known as Juarez groups. These groups form a secretive decentralized network referred to as the Scene. Adhering to strict rules and regulations, the various groups within the Scene compete fiercely to be the first to release a cracked game. It is important to note that these groups are primarily motivated by competition rather than generosity, emphasizing that their pursuit of cracking games is driven by the pursuit of glory rather than financial gain. This brings us to Denuvo, an anti-tamper software introduced in 2014. Denuvo revolutionized the gaming industry by encrypting and decrypting game code on the fly, rendering games that utilize it exceptionally challenged to crack and pirate. As a result, Denuvo kept certain games uncracked for extended periods of time. It soon became a standard feature in many games, yet numerous gamers grew to despise it due to its significant impact on performance. Games equipped with Denuvo were often perceived as less smooth, with lower frame rates and longer load screens. Despite these drawbacks, Denuvo seemed nearly impossible to crack, prompting some game developers to deem it worth implementing. However, over time, game crackers gradually unraveled its complexities. In a notable milestone, the Chinese Juarez group, 3DM, successfully cracked Denuvo after 3 months, marking a pivotal moment for the Scene. Initially, Denuvo crack releases were scarce, with only 6 games cracked in 2015. However, the release of Rise of Tomb Raider, featuring a new version of Denuvo, left 3DM feeling defeated, as they were unable to crack the game. This sense of defeat led them to leave a chilling message for the community before relinquishing the pursuit. I still believe that this game can be compromised, but according to the current trends in development of encryption technology, in 2 years' time, I'm afraid there will be no free games to play in this world. The cracking community entered a period of hibernation following 3DM's perceived defeat, with many feeling discouraged by the turn of events. However, after a span of 193 days, a new group called CPY emerged victorious by cracking Tomb Raider, reinvigorating the community and ending the prolonged drought. The formidable challenge posed by Denuvo compelled groups within the Scene to unite and collaborate in order to crack Denuvo-protected games. This collective effort led to an expansion in the number of cracked games being released. However, such collaboration demanded significant manpower, time, and resources from the groups. The difficult nature of the task required their combined expertise and dedication to overcome Denuvo's defenses and bring the cracked games to the community. Ultimately, it's important to know that Denuvo is the real deal, and it is almost impossible to pirate games that have it. Well, that is, until one user would rise from the depths. EMPRESS, shrouded in mystery with her true identity concealed, initially emerged as C5, collaborating with the infamous video game cracker Codex. However, it was her solo breakthrough when she successfully cracked Planet Zoo that thrust her into the limelight. This accomplishment marked the beginning of a remarkable journey as she went to crack prominent titles like Total War, Warhammer 2, and Anno 1800, establishing herself as an unstoppable force against Denuvo. What set EMPRESS apart was her decision to operate independently, deviating from the conventional group dynamics within the Scene. Yet this solo approach only served to amplify her dominance. Between October 2020 and July 2021, out of 15 major cracks achieved during that period, EMPRESS played a significant role in more than half of them. It was not only her exceptional skill that captivated attention, but also the fact that she was paving the way for the future of game cracking. She fiercely waged war against a multi-billion-dollar industry and emerged victorious, becoming an icon within the game piracy communities. Her triumphs garnered widespread admiration and respect. She would be known as the only individual who could crack Denuvo by herself. EMPRESS even granted an interview with Wired, where she discussed her experiences in cracking Denuvo and providing insights on her own persona. This interview further solidified her status as a prominent figure, showcasing her expertise and determination to challenge the established norms within the gaming industry. I have a goal that no one else has. I have no need for ego. Empress transcended the role of a mere pirate within the scene. She became a revolutionary figure who defied norms and embraced a distinct approach. Empress actively interfaced with her fans on platforms like Reddit, fostering a sense of community and connection. Through these engagements, she not only shared her cracking achievements, but she also indulged in philosophical mustings, sparking interesting and even sometimes controversial discussions among her followers. In an unprecedented move, Empress even accepted donations, challenging the notion that piracy was solely driven by glory. This unconventional stance further solidified her position as a symbol of resistance against the gaming industry and its massive corporations. What set Empress apart was not just her ability to crack de novo protected games, but also her commitment to enhancing the gaming experience for players. Her cracked games often addressed issues that plagued the original releases. Her crack for Resident Evil Village not only bypassed de novo, but also fixed an in-game stutter that persisted in the legitimate version of the game. This attention to detail and dedication to improving the player experience added to her legend and garnered even greater admiration from the gaming community. Empress's unwavering disdain for the practices of massive corporations resonated with many, positioning her as a champion of resistance against the perceived injustices of the gaming industry. Her actions in cracked releases embodied a form of activism, empowering players and challenging the status quo. The reason why Ubisoft, EA, and such companies never remove de novo from their games is only because they love feeling superior and enjoy seeing you, the customer, as pig, under their control or worse. Empress's release of the Red Dead Redemption 2 crack propelled her to a sense of invincibility, elevating her self-perception to new heights. However, as her fame grew, it also brought intense scrutiny, and her ego began to manifest prominently. She boldly proclaimed herself as a master philosopher, challenging the works of renowned thinkers from history, and even positioning herself as one of the greatest intellectual minds of all time. Unfortunately, Empress's behavior took a problematic turn. She expressed strong hatred towards men and spewed transphobic ideologies, further deepening the controversies surrounding her. Viewing herself as a god and believing in her superiority over others, she embraced a dangerously narcissistic perspective. The piracy community was not immune to Empress's bold claims and decisive beliefs. Her assertions sparked heated debates and led to her eventual temporary suspension from the piracy community, as her behavior and ideologies contradicted the principles and values held by many within the community. The suspension and the ensuing discussions served as a wake-up call for Empress to confront the consequences of her actions and ideologies. The community's reaction reflected a disillusionment with the once renowned pirate queen, challenging her credibility and forcing her to face the repercussions of her controversial stances. Despite the controversies surrounding Empress, her fanbase remained fiercely loyal, considering her a savior of video games. They praised her for consistently delivering cracked games that surpassed the official versions in terms of quality and functionality. However, as Empress's demands for donations became more prominent, the community began to question her motives and accused her of succumbing to greed. The division deepened when Empress decided to join a traditional scene group, expressing her frustration with the stagnation and lack of support within the scene. She claimed to be the driving force behind recent successful de novo cracks, accusing others of being complacent or even compromised by the industry. This move sparked a backlash from the scene, who criticized Empress for her request for monetary contributions, seeing it as a betrayal of the fundamental principle of piracy, providing games for free. Tensions escalated rapidly, leading to intense verbal battles between Empress and other groups within the piracy community. It became evident that the once revered pirate queen's relationship with the community was now eroding. Doubts arose regarding her true intentions and whether she was truly upholding the principles of the piracy community. It seemed that the love affair between the community and the once beloved pirate queen was reaching a critical turning point. One of the top groups in the scene even went as far as including a file in their most recent crack of Iron Harvest, which said, "As we do this without profit from own pockets, we supply them games, buy them. Empress, you are asking money for piracy. We think that's more rotten than codecs themselves. We also have our real-life jobs to do, and we would not ever ask for money. Shame on you. For starters, piracy's basic principle is free." The climax arrived with the release of Empress's highly anticipated crack for Immortals Fenyx Rising. Pirates and users in the community were met with frustratingly low download speeds, leading them to uncover Empress's deliberate throttling tactics. Her intention was clear. She sought to claim the spotlight and exclusive glory by preventing other pirates from repacking her cracks. Repacking involved compressing torrents into smaller sizes, making them more accessible for users with limited bandwidth. So some individuals that rely on smaller downloads wouldn't be able to use her cracked version, as many users in the community don't have access to fast internet. This created an even deeper divide, which even pissed off repackers themselves within the community. One extremely popular repacker named FitGirl went out of her way to type out her major concerns with Empress. The post on her website even got more than 5,000 comments. FitGirl was so upset with Empress's ideologies and actions that she pledged herself to never repack Empress's cracks ever again. As Empress's influence grew, she made a controversial decision to hold cracks hostage until she received payment, demanding a specific amount of money and donations. She made it clear that without meeting her financial requirements, there would be no crack for a particular game. Many individuals utilizing her services found it more cost-effective for all of them to contribute a few dollars rather than purchasing the full-priced game. The community found itself facing a choice: either support Empress, buy the full game, or have no alternative. While she faced criticism and pushback from her followers, Empress remained resolute in her determination to monetize her cracking endeavors. She even went so far as to outline specific rates, stating that a mere $500 donation would speed up the process for those requesting a particular crack. Empress revealed her sense of invincibility as she flawlessly produced cracks, believing she was beyond the reach of consequences. However, her perception would soon be shattered. While large companies and law enforcement struggled to combat the widespread distribution of torrents, they could exert their authority by targeting the individuals behind these cracks. This is precisely why the scene operated covertly, valuing anonymity to avoid any information leakage that could lead to legal repercussions. Tragically, one of the greatest video game crackers of all time, Voxy, experienced the nightmarish scenario that haunted every cracker's thoughts: a confrontation with law enforcement. Bulgarian police raided Voxy's residence, a chilling reminder of the very real dangers they faced. Such incidences were not to be taken lightly. In February 2021, Empress faced a similar fate. Her identity was exposed, and her address was leaked to the authorities. The veil of anonymity that had protected her quickly fell apart, exposing her to potential legal consequences. Some serious people on Reddit managed to report me to the authorities with my real address. I am not quite sure how it happened, but even with putting my philosophical side aside, I think I pissed off the entire internet just by trying to control my own crack for 24 hours. Is actually something I am not able to believe. In less than an hour, I will be dragged out of my home here with my lawyer, but considering I was caught red-handed while preparing version 2 fix for my Immortals crack, I don't think there would be much of hope against it at all. Empress then explained that FitGirl, along with her haters, were to blame. After, she composed a heartfelt speech, reflecting on her journey and the impact she had on the community. Many believed it would mark her farewell, a dire conclusion to her career in video game cracking. However, fate had a different plan in store. Contrary to initial assumptions that Empress would be gone for good, she quickly came back. To this day, it is unknown if the police actually came to her house and arrested her. Nonetheless, this incident deeply affected Empress, leaving a profound impact on her conscience. Driven by a desire to make amends with those that she may have offended, she felt compelled to reconcile with the community she'd become entwined with. I am a very emotional soul, and I burst with emotions quite easily. So I want to give an official apology to all repackers and all the people that ever got offended from me due to that. I messed up before, but I will not mess up again. I put hope into your kindness and your ability to forgive. Both her admirers and her critics found themselves unexpectedly united, believed that Empress had embarked on a path of personal growth and redemption. While the consequences she faced in relation to the police incident remained uncertain, there was a shared hope that she would emerge as a figure to be revered rather than scorned. A reinvention seemed imminent, promising a fresh start for Empress. Regrettably, this reinvention proved short-lived as Empress succumbed once again to her psychopathic philosophical rants. This time, her rants took a disturbing turn as she directed her hatred towards people from India, expressing vicious disdain for the country and its inhabitants. The impact of her remarks was particularly devastating as a significant portion of the pirating community hailed from India. This was largely due to the unavailability of many games for purchase within the country. Consequently, Empress's derogatory statements hit close to home, causing widespread distress and disappointment within the community. Wow, as an Indian guy, I went from, oh, she's basically a chuuni character that escaped into our world from some shitty manga, to, I really hope she gets hit by a truck after seeing that screenshot. Quite literally, Empress dug herself back into her hole with her hate speech and strange perspectives. The situation would quickly revert back to normal. The majority of the community continued to hold hatred towards Empress, begrudgingly acknowledging her talents solely out of necessity. The truth was evident. The only reason why Empress was getting any attention is because people just wanted her to keep cracking games. One user in a Reddit thread explained this well. Yeah, the amount of fuck I give about this is so small that it doesn't even register on a scale. All I care about is free games. I would suck Satan's dick if he was the one cracking de nouveau. Just saying. For now, Empress is still out there, cracking all of the newest titles and of course, continuously pissing people off with all of her strange philosophies. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.